Welcome to Karibu Anawim's program, 15 Minutes at Dr. Zali's Desk, where we explore topics related to living with a facial disfigurement. This program is for you, your loved ones, for educational purposes and professionals who would like to know more about living with facial disfigurement. Our presenters have lived experience, research background, or work with people living with facial disfigurement. It's important to begin the conversation with terminology that society understands and is clear. We use the word disfigurement as it is the medical and legal terminology. We recognise you may identify with other words such as visible difference or with your own diagnosis. Let's see where the conversation goes. So pull up a seat, grab a cuppa, and let's chat around the table with Karibu Anawim's 15 Minutes at Dr. Zali's Desk.
And good morning, good evening, or afternoon, and welcome to our session today. It's the end of the month, and every last Friday of each month, we have your questions and answers. Maybe an answer to some of your questions, but we'll just discuss them, yeah? So right over here, I'm going to go over to banners and let's get started with your stories. So, that was a story. What's the first question is, what is a story? Well, we looked at that the first week of this month. But just to recap, stories are powerful. You know, what stories do you remember being told as a kid? Or what was your favourite story when you were able to read for yourself? Or what story or what movie has impacted you? These are all storytelling. They create worlds, mysteries, make you sad or happy. Now, stories have been used for thousands of years. A story is a powerful way of communicating knowledge in a way that it is enjoyable, memorable, and personal. Next question. Why do we tell stories and what's the point? Well, your story is important. My story is important. The way that we communicate is important, and storytelling is a meaningful way for you and to share your story, meaningful for you and your audience. So it may be using this sarcasm at times. Like, go check out last week I had I had Tabitha, a guest with me, and she has a gap in between her teeth that she chooses not to get fixed, and because it's just a part of her. She could get it fixed with braces if she wanted to, but she's chosen not to. So for some interesting ways of, well, it's non-disclosure that she's using. She's using false disclosure, really. Some of her stories, she's a crack up. So you better listen, go back and watch last week's. But what's the point of telling your story? It is your story, your power, or my story, my power. And this is where you get to share your story and be remembered in a way in which you have interacted with the person in front of you. And you get to embed your story in their brains rather than have them walk away. It's basically, yes, it shouldn't be happening, but we do need to do it. Otherwise, they have, that we're evil, that we should be something to be feared for, something that they might catch, so we better not go near them. It's some little, because you can't catch most of the things. Well, we can't catch a facial disfigurement. or a visible difference, but it's all subconscious, yeah, that they do that with. So these are fantastic stories. If anyone online have got any questions live, please drop it in the chat so I can answer them, or we can have a chat about them. So the next question was, how do you work out where a story starts? Well, that'll be different for everyone. Where do you want your story to begin? What is important for you to convey to them? What message is important, and what do you want to impart? The context is necessary, though. The who, the what, the where, and the when questions are important to answer, because if you put a context around your story, so for example, my story is I was born 10 days or as a newborn, because everyone thinks 10 years. When I say 10 days old, it's people go, oh, so you were 10 years old. And it's like, no, and so I've changed it from even as a baby to a newborn, because a newborn is like a newborn, it's only 6 weeks old. As soon as you are 6 weeks old these days, you're not a newborn, you're a baby. I don't know. Where do they draw that from? Not quite sure. So who, for me, my parents were there with me. Where? In a car. When I was a newborn. And so I've got those foundational things, and I can tell that part of the story, and that is the beginning. Is there a particular moment or a circumstance that you would like to share with them first? It's all very personalized. How do you work out when to stop? Well, that's a very good question. Sometimes when the eyes get glazed over, or they fidget around, that's a very good choice. That's a good cue to zip it, like you've done too much and they've had too much. Sometimes it's terrific to have a variety of stories containing the same truth. Your story, your power. My story, my power. So for young kids, keep it simple and short and sweet. My eye doesn't work because I had a car accident. That's as simple as a baby, I had a car accident. My mum and dad had a car accident. For adults, it depends whether or not they are genuinely curious, or you're going up to them and saying, you're interacting with them and you're being proactive. Make it simple and perhaps intriguing, like Tabitha last week, telling what was some of the things that she said. Something like she was in a motor. She belongs to a motorbike or a bikie gang, and she had a mishap, and a tooth got knocked out because she had a motorbike accident. That was not the truth. She was born with a gap in between her teeth, and that. But for adults, you can make it simple as well, or perhaps intriguing and telling it in a way that they would like to hear some more. And the other ones that I've got here that didn't save when I wrote it is, if I can't write it, this is the next question that I haven't actually got written. I thought that I had written it, but I could write it now. If I can't write it, comma, how else can I share my story? And oops, I'm going to save it and show it to you now. I can do 3 things. Well, if you can't write it, how else can you share your story? Be creative. You can paint, you can draw, you can use, you can, if you can't think of writing a narrative, a story, you can use poetry, you can use social media, dance, perhaps, through theatre and song. Sometimes just getting started with a piece of paper and a pen is daunting. Just try it. Don't worry about spelling. Don't worry about whether or not it makes sense. Don't worry about paragraphing. Don't worry about, using full stops or anything. Just get your ideas down. And if I've got something to show you still, I do. Hang on, it's coming. You can use mind maps. Can you remember? Mind maps sort of thing. What you want to do, like my story, who, what, where, when, and why. And then you can do facts. Car accident. What happened? Car accident. Who? Mum and dad. How? Drunk driver. When I was a newborn. Why? Because he'd crashed into us. So that sort of stuff. And then you can start writing and paragraphing and sharing. Now I'm doing 3 things at once. How do you share your story with others? And I'm saving that and I'm showing it right now. 3 things at once I can do. Well, how do you share your story with others? Practice. Practice makes better, never perfect, okay? Because I've practiced, I've rehearsed, I've done these things, and be honest and authentically present your story and your power. And the last one, this one worked. I don't know why some didn't work and some others did. Can a story change? Yes, it can evolve. For example, if your condition changes, well then, and get it, and then if your condition changes, like it grows or it shrinks or it gets worse sometimes because it's a time of the year and sometimes it doesn't flare up that much. Those stories can share. You can include that in your story. In, just for example, I've got a port wine stain, and I'm just making it up, guys. So I don't know whether or not this is true, but I've got a port wine stain, and it gets more red when it's cold, or it changes a deeper color when it gets cold as opposed to when it's hot. I don't know whether or not that's true, but in my story that I'm making up, it is. Or, you can rehearse your script, and if you don't like parts of it, you can change it. For example, I used to minimize mine, right? I used to minimize my story. It's just a car accident. I got rid of and I got rid of I was in a car accident. I now say I'm a survivor of a motor vehicle accident as a newborn. I'm still saying the same thing, but I am saying that I'm a survivor, tick. I am saying it was a car accident, tick. And as a newborn, it really means that you're a tiny, tiny baby, as opposed to just a baby, because, a baby could be a year old or 6 months old or something like that. So yes, your story can change. You evolve. Your storytelling techniques can change, and that's how I learnt how to change my story. Because for years I said, it's just a car accident, minimizing my lived experience and my own story. And I only learnt that through doing my PhD, would you believe? So thank you very much for all your questions this week or this month. Remember that it's okay not to be okay, and to practice being kind to yourself and your family this month or this week. Now, where did my flower go? I had my flower. It's over here. Is it following me? There you go. Yes, it's a flower. Remember, this month we are doing some breathing activities that you and your children can do, and you can teach your children. So this one is the first one that we're doing is for the last time this month, bunny breathing. So we got to sit up straight, sit up, tilt your head towards the sky. I'm not quite sure why. And take 3 short breaths like a bunny sniffing a flower. And then you hold your breath for a moment and then you exhale sharply. And then you repeat until you feel calm and grounded. You ready? We do it usually 3 times. We're ready? Ready? We short inhale breaths 3 times. Hold. Out. Hold. Out. Ready? Last time. That smells nice. The flower. Now, remember, count to 10. We inhale on breath and say 1, and we exhale saying 2, right to the number 10. Yes? So we inhale 1. Exhale 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. It's really hard to do in and online for you. I feel funny doing it. And the last one that we're going to practice is we got to pretend that we're smelling a flower again. And we're going to breathe in, pretending that you smell a flower. And as you breathe out, you make a humming bee sound. And you can try sounds, giggly sounds, bee breaths, a bumblebee, a daddy one and a mummy one. Oh, it's going to be fun. You ready? A bumblebee breath. Breathe in, pretend that you're smiling like a flower, smelling a flower, and then you breathe out, humming. Ready? Ooh, ready? Doing it again. Thank you very much for sharing this time with me and giving me your questions. Next week is the beginning of the next month, and our monthly topic next month is common issues out and about in public, and I think it's on staring next week, if I remember rightly. So our overarching theme next month is common issues out in public. And thank you very much for coming and watching. If you've got any questions, if you want to have some help, you just reach out and connect with us. So without another thing that's happening, I will say goodbye. Same time, same place next week.
It's the end
Bye.
of Karibu Anawim's 15 Minutes at Dr. Zali's Desk. And that's a wrap for this episode. Thanks for tuning in. Please remember that all information given during this episode is for general application only. If you have any specific medical issues, as always, consult with your medical practitioner. Like, subscribe and share on whatever platform you find us on. For more information, please connect with Karibu Anawim on our website at karibuanawim.com or email us at inquiries@karibuanawim.com.